Hello Aquarius! Happy September 2018. This is Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside. Coming to you with your September reading for September 2018. So, the emphasis for you in the month of September is really going to be around the 8th house of money, other people's money, your partner's money, resources, assets, but your partner's assets, or assets that are, or financial documents like taxes, insurances, annuities, child support, business documents even. The sun's going to be there, Mercury's going to be there, that's Virgo. And that's where the emphasis is going to be in the month of September up until the 22nd, when the sun moves into Libra, which would then be in your 9th house, which is legal, more legal documents, or legal or educational type of situation. So, you know, it's really, the emphasis for most of the month is going to be in that 8th house. And on the 9th of September, there's going to be a new moon in Virgo, in your solar 8th house. And so I'm wondering how that new moon is going to play out in your solar 8th house. And that's interesting, because that is other people's money. I could see that maybe there might be something that you're working on, or some new resource, or some new form of money that comes to you because of perhaps something that you're working on or doing. And that it would be after that new moon, because that new moon is going to affect you for at least 2 weeks. So I would think that if you can arrange to do or work on documents and legalities and things like that between, anytime after the 9th of September would be good. Because after the 22nd, it goes into Libra, which is trine Aquarius. And so if you're going to be working on any legal documents, then that would also bode very well when the sun is in the 9th house, sun in Mercury. Because the sun goes, as I said, goes into Libra on the 22nd, and Mercury goes into Libra on the 21st. And so they're going to be there. So let's go through and take a good look at where all of these planets are going to fall in your chart for the month of September. On September 2nd, there's a pre-retrograde shadow of Venus. And this is because Venus is about to retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. And will be retrograding on the 5th of October at 10 degrees of Scorpio. And so the pre-shadow for that starts on the 2nd of September. I've been just talking most of the signs that might be affected by that, and you're one of them. I would say to stay away from new relationships, really, especially if it's not before the 9th of September or after the 24th of September. And the reason for that is because when there's that pre-retrograde shadow like that, it's almost like if you get into a relationship, it could rebound, or you're doomed to repeat it or something like that. It's just one of those, it's not a good time to get in a new relationship. You might rebound to an old relationship, but I don't know how steady that would be after Mars retrogrades after the 5th of October. So, just be aware that there's some weird things going on with Venus in the month of September. And I say this to you because Scorpio, well, that's your 10th house. And so Venus would end up being up at your 10th house. And so you will have this occurring in your chart, because Venus enters Scorpio on the 9th of September. And it will be in your 10th house all through September 9th and onward. You have Jupiter in the 10th house too right now, and that's, that's actually positive. when Jupiter's in the 10th house, that's very positive for your career. But I am concerned about the Venus retrograde shadow, and just making sure that the work that you do, or especially since this is in your career, so I'm wondering how that might affect the work that you do, if the work that you do will be affected when it retrogrades, or during the shadow. If it's something you're doing the work now, but are you going to have to go back and redo the work later because of it being in the shadow? So just be aware of those kind of weird nuances that are occurring in the month of September. On the 5th of September, Mercury goes into Virgo. On the 6th, Saturn stations direct in Capricorn. And speaking of Capricorn, you've got Pluto in Capricorn, you've got Saturn in Capricorn, and we've got Mars in Capricorn, but Mars is going to enter Aquarius because it is going direct. Mars went direct on the 27th of August. And so on the 10th of September, Mars is going to enter Aquarius, which is going to be your solar first house. And so you might start feeling that energy boost like you felt last month. I'm sure you really felt a lot of energy in late July or very early August. So you will feel that, and I would take advantage of it, because once it goes through direct, that's it. It's not going to be in your first house. So take advantage of that extra energy boost that you have, working on yourself, your image, your body, your health, or whatever that's you. All that is you, okay? So work on that. That is, Mars is going to be there. I hope it doesn't take, that it's not overly aggressive or angry, because Mars can be overly aggressive and angry. And it could be that you're pushy. I mean, Mars tends to be pushy. So you might hear that some people say that you're a little pushy right now. But I think, if you're pushing in the area of career or education or money, especially other people's money, or people sending you money, be a little pushy, because you've got Venus and Jupiter are sitting up at the top of your chart. They're going to be, Jupiter's in your 10th, and the Sun and Mercury are going to be going from your 9th or your 8th to your 9th. You've got Venus going from your 9th to your 10th. That's all up in the top, very above the horizon type of activity going on there. And so I would advise you to take advantage of this. This is a rarity. Jupiter in the 10th house in and of itself is, I think, a rarity. It only happens every 12 years, and wherever Jupiter goes, it bestows beneficial, prosperous vibes. It's a positive thing. And right now in Aquarius, you've got that Jupiter sitting up in your house of career, doing its positive thing, I think, right now in your house of career. Now, of course, Scorpio does square Aquarius, and so sometimes, especially now, like I said, with Mars going back into Aquarius on the 10th, you might come off a little pushy. Mars is a little different. You might come off a little different, and I still think that when Jupiter is up in the 10th house this way, you should do well in all your work-related activities. And knowing you're independent Aquarius, you probably own your own business or do your own thing. And so I think this is going to be very good for your career and your image and your reputation. I mean, Jupiter's up there, Venus is up there, even though it's going to retrograde on the 5th. I mean, take advantage of the 9th to the 5th. I mean, take advantage of it, even though it's in the pre-shadow or whatever. But, it's up in the 10th house. My goodness, how beautiful is that? And so really take advantage of it between the 9th of September, when the new moon goes into Virgo at 17 degrees Virgo. Okay, the new moon goes into Virgo at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. And so when that new moon hits Virgo, and it's going to be in that solar 8th house, that's money. That's money. If you are a independent business owner or independent consultant or something like that, my goodness, take advantage of that, because these planets up there at the top of in your midheaven, or up in your 10th house in your career and reputation, or in your 8th house, and of other people's money, people sending you money, take advantage of that. Now, conversely, on the other side of the chart, you've got Neptune in Pisces right now, and Neptune has been in Pisces for a while. It's going to be in Pisces for a while. It's smack dab in the middle of Pisces, pretty much. But the thing about Pisces, that Neptune, is that it can make you a little bit confused when it comes to money. Like, money can seem a little bit nebulous right now. Whether it feels like it's like water, it slips through your fingers. I don't know if you've been going through issues with money lately, but I could see where that could be an issue. And especially when the Sun and Mercury are opposing the second house of money. Let's hope it means that you're going to get money from other sources, and not so much that you're not going to know what to do about your own personal situation with what you personally own and possess right now. And it's really important to note that on the 25th of September, Chiron, the wounded healer, is going into that second house. So whatever pains or frustrations you've been having with your financial situation, Chiron's going to bring light to that on the 25th. And let's hope that, it's not going to be too bad, and that something positive will come out of your healing that second house. I would use this time to heal the pains that you have with money and what you possess and what you have to give in this world, and your possessions. I would look at that and how you're affected by that when the Sun and Mercury are opposing that house, because it's not going to really be there. Neptune's going to be there, so it's going to be a very, I think, fairly confusing time when it comes to money. It almost makes me think of living on a prayer. Maybe a miracle will come with the money. Who knows? That's it just seems like that's what will happen. Before I go, I want to say though that on the 24th of September, there is going to be a full moon in Aries, and that's going to happen in the 3rd house, in your solar 3rd house, and that kind of rules communication. So it could mean your siblings. It could mean that you have an argument or something emotional happens with your siblings. It was like brothers and sisters or something like that. It could be your neighborhood. Something happened, full moon, something in the neighborhood, something in family, like cousins, aunts, uncles. Yeah, something in the neighborhood. But really, I always think it's writing, something to do with like communication, like writing, reading, writing, arithmetic, something to do with that. Maybe you'll be, it's like maybe a combination almost of something to do with communication. And that communication is one thing, but on the opposite side, we've got that emphasis is going to be in Libra, because as I said, the Sun is going to be in Libra, and so is Mercury. And this full moon is going to be happening at 2 degrees of Aries, which means it's actually going to be opposing that Sun and Mercury that are going to be in Libra at that time. They're going to probably be at 2 degrees as well. So be aware that you're going to have this weird seesaw effect happening between your 3rd house of communications and your 9th house of higher education. That 24th of the month would really highlight that for some reason. Why, I don't know. But, I would also say be careful around your neighborhood and, with cars and, taking buses or taxis or anything like that. And be careful of your neighbors. Don't get into an argument or anything with your neighbors. Try to stay out of their way. You know, it's a full moon. Full moons are emotional. And it might mean that, you know, you might be emotional in the way that you communicate that day, because Aries rules the house of communication. So be very extra cautious about how you speak that day and how you communicate that day. Because remember, you've got Mars in the first house. So however you communicate might come off a little gruff or aggressive or over emotional. Be aware that this is occurring. Okay? And before I go, I want to just address that you've got this Pluto and Saturn in your 12th house. And, you know, Saturn has been retrograde, and it's been retrograding, wow, all of summer, I think since April, I believe. But Saturn goes direct on the 6th of September. And it goes direct, it's in your 12th house, your solar 12th house. And Pluto's in your solar 12th house. And Pluto goes direct on the 30th of September. So these planets that have been retrograding in your 12th house are all going to go direct and come back forward toward your first house again. So it may feel like you finally get some forward motion, and I don't know how it's been affecting you emotionally, like spiritually and mentally and privately, because this is all happening in your private houses, in the, you know, in the deep recesses of your mind. And so be cautious about that. And if Saturn, of course, rules caution, so you know, you might have felt restricted in some way. I'm not sure, maybe creatively, you know, or dreams or something of that nature. But with Pluto there as well, you know, that's a lot of hidden power. You've got a lot of hidden power. That's what I see. A lot of hidden power. Power in your dreams, power behind the scenes, power that people don't know about. You possess hidden power. Take advantage of that hidden power. Take advantage of those hunches that you get, that inner intuition that you hear, those inner voices. Your power is deeply hidden, but your power is there, especially with Jupiter and Scorpio in the 10th house right now. So take advantage of those hidden messages that you receive from those deep Capricorn recesses, those deep dark Capricorn places that know some of the answers that you might not know that you know, because Pluto helps to expose things, and Pluto is in your 12th house. So it's exposing deep, dark, hidden things that might have been hidden to you for years, but now you may have the opportunity to really self-evaluate and look at yourself deeply. You know, by the way, with the sun in the moon, the new moon, and Mercury in the 8th house starting out the month, that also indicates looking deep within, you know, searching yourself deeply. The psychology, even if it's self psychology, but looking deep within. It's a good month to research and look within and find all those hidden things that you've had buried for such a long time, and move forward and clean them out. This is the month to do it. Okay, Aquarius, this has been my reading for you for the month of September of 2018. I am praying for all you Aquariuses and wishing you much love and much light and many, many blessings. This has been Capricorntigress with Astrology, a look inside. Much love to all.